Hi, my name is Charlie Hugh-Jones, and this is Unlocking the Best Version of You, the podcast for high-performing individuals and entrepreneurs who want to be more productive, feel more purposeful, enjoy more resilience and vitality, and increase the depth and richness of their connection with others. I'm so glad you're here. And once again, it's time to unlock the best version of you. Carpe Diem. You ever heard that Latin phrase, seize the day? You know, that's what I say to myself most mornings. How often do you say that to yourself at the start of the day? You know, that today is the day you're going to use your time commuting if you're on the metro or the subway or the tube or you drive the same route every day. That you've decided to feed your mind by listening to that, maybe this podcast, that you'll nourish your soul by listening to that incredible piece of music you've been trying to find time to, or you'll enrich your world, if you're not driving, by reading that challenging book. You've set that intention, but then your phone pings, and your Pavlovian reaction to that ping drives that little dance of your thumb to open that InstaSnapFaceTweet. The moment it arrives, pulling you away from your good intentions into your phone. And this isn't exactly the version of yourself that you had planned to be that morning. Disciplined, healthy, productive, etc. The master of your phone, rather than becoming slave to its beck and call. And you know, this isn't just idle distraction either. This Pavlovian programming of your reaction can massively impact your productivity throughout the day. You see, a recent study conducted by Harris Poll on behalf of the website Career Builder stated that 3 in 4 employers that in excess of 2 hours are lost in productivity to phone distraction every day. You see, phone is the number one productivity killer in the modern office, apparently. And our decisions, like how often we check our phones, are informed by rational and irrational judgments, subconscious biases, and some information gaps, among a number of other factors. But these factors contribute to some really interesting quirks of human behavior that have long been studied by psychologists, philosophers, behavioral economists, and high-performance coaches like myself, because one of these quirks that we're always struggling with, that we identify and try and help with, is the making of decisions in the moment that seem to be counterproductive to our best interests in the long run. Like continuing to check our phones incessantly, even though we know it's disastrous for productivity and could even be detrimental to our mental health. Why do we do it? Well, I want to talk to you today about one cause, which is called time inconsistency. What's that, you might be asking? Well, essentially, it's the tension between our present and future selves, who we want to be in the future and the person we are in the moment. And this creates a gap. And advertisers have known for years how to exploit this gap between our present and future selves. But now, not just advertisers, now that gap is built right into the apps we use every day. And although, I can't claim that there's some definitive body of research on this, the current evidence does suggest that the way that we're using our devices on a minute-to-minute basis often contradicts how we wish we used them, or didn't if we're trying to use them less. And Google, Twitter, Snapchat, Tencent, Facebook take advantage of this. Now, I'm not saying they do this nefariously. I'm saying their whole business model is predicated on the fact that they need to grab your and my attention, not just once or twice a day, but as frequently as possible. And how do they do this? Well, you know how they do this, through push notifications, through auto-playing videos, through chat bots that ask you and I questions in Messenger pop-ups and so on that we feel compelled to respond to. And these relatively inconsequential functions exploit our tendency to procrastinate and our susceptibility to inertia. They get our attention no matter how it makes us feel. And we do feel, apparently we feel a lot. A recent study conducted by the Center for Humane Technology and the organization called Moment illustrates the connection between screen time and our feelings of happiness or regret. It really does depend on the apps we use too. So for example, you're looking at Netflix. One of the optimum lengths of time to be engaged in Netflix is around the 40-minute mark. If you get to 80-minute mark, nearly double that, more often than not, people reported in this particular study that they were unhappy, that they regretted how much time they spent on it. It's a similar issue for Instagram. Well, actually, it's around 27 minutes on Instagram is okay, and people feel happy that they've used it, they're engaged, they've connected with people, and then they get to just under 60 minutes and they feel regret that their time has been taken away. So of the 200,000 survey respondents to this survey that I'm talking about, most spent much more time in apps than they planned to, and later regretted spending that time. And although you and I know this intuitively, this kind of survey with such a broad base of survey respondents, 200,000, backs this up. The way we use our phones is not time consistent. Remember the gap between what I said, between our present selves and our future selves, who we are and who we want to be? This time inconsistency applies to our phones. And we may feel regret, but, and here's the key, it rarely seems to change our behavior. One thing that the study showed was that people kept going back to the same apps and kept repeating that same tendency to watch for 40 minutes, plan to watch for 40 minutes, and then watch for 80 minutes, what have you. We still let our phones kill our productivity. So what I want to talk about briefly today is what can we do about it? You might have a number of ideas yourself already. Well, we might want policymakers and tech giants like Google and Facebook and Apple to do something about it. And we've seen Apple recently begin to create things like the app Screen Time to help us monitor it. We want them to re-engineer the choice architecture to avoid catalyzing addictive behavior. Well, Apple's trying to give us choice, but they're not necessarily changing the other things I'm about to talk about. But the solution for those of us who actually want to be more productive and maintain our well-being and a positive mental health is actually far simpler and far easier to implement than going through the rigmarole of setting up a whole new app, etc. So I want to just give you 3 simple things you can do right now. And I want to challenge you to think about more of them. And if you have others, please in this podcast, do write your thoughts and your comments below. I really do want to engage with you and get you thinking and for you to share your wisdom with other people as well. This podcast is a catalyst for that, but I'm just going to share 3 simple steps right now, which I said involve some very small changes in our rituals and routines. And one of the things about these small changes is that if you do them consistently for sort of between 7 and 10 days, they can actually reduce most of our Pavlovian reaction to our phones, which in turn can increase our productivity immensely. So you ready for the first one? First one's super simple. Turn off notifications. You know you don't need them, so switch them off. And what I promise you is that the phantom pings and those vibrations will fade over time. Now, when you first start doing this, when you've turned notifications off, you will still instinctively check your phone for the first few days. But because the stimulus, that little prompt, that buzz or the what have you, will be removed, or the ping, the time periods between the checks that you automatically do will gradually increase. And what will decrease will be the anxiety of missing something. You know, at the same time, your capacity to focus is going to increase as well. So this is pretty cool. Just turning off notifications reduces our primed state to react. And although we'll have the ghost version of that to start with, it will begin to reduce. So that's the first thing, turn off notifications. The second thing is actually plan your app time. What I mean by that is scheduling ahead of time when you're going to do your Facebook messages, when you're going to check Instagram, how much time you're going to spend on Pinterest. Planning it will greatly increase your ability to follow through with this. And if you plan it and put it in your schedule, a number of my clients have done this because they love reading the sports or the politics stuff on Facebook News or their other apps, you know, to plan when you're going to look at that during the day, you'll feel more in control of it. And it actually reduces the willpower required to manage your own behavior. So try batching your Facebook or Instagram time. Create windows in your schedule explicitly to use these apps, and then you won't need to feel guilty for them because you planned. Not just for when, always make sure it's for how long. The study I referred to above reported there is an optimal time per app if you want to avoid regret. So keep track of your total app usage. If you need to, use Apple's screen time app to help you figure out what you use when, and correlate that. Notice when your feelings, when you're on your phone, tip into frustration or unhappiness or regret. And then what you can do is you could adjust and schedule your time accordingly. So I'm saying be deliberate, be conscious to plan when you're going to access some of those, things that you do need to sign into day to day. You do need to use, you want to use, you enjoy, but plan your app time. 3, okay, here we go. The last thing I want to say is take phone breaks. Now, I'm not talking about a total digital detox here that's going to require extensive planning, and you're going to need to talk to all your team about how they can't get hold of you and all this lot. No. You don't need accountability partners with this. This is just phone breaks. Small things. You can just start small. For example, turn your phone off. Or more realistically, for some of you, if you can't stand ever turning your phone off, put it in another room without your notifications on, 30 minutes before you go to sleep at night. Not only will that need, that clamoring in you, this is, I've got to check this, this need to know what's going on lessen over the few days, I promise you will also begin to sleep better. So many studies are showing this. So turn your phone off. Take small phone breaks. If you don't do it during the day, do it during the day. Put your phone 10 feet away from you while you're trying to focus on that report you needed to write, or you want to create that new piece of artwork or whatever it is that you need space to create. Move your phone out of the place. Change your environment. Take a phone break. So they're the 3 things. 1, turn off notifications. 2, plan your app time. And 3, take phone breaks. Because if you want to feel more empowered and you want to experience more happiness, you want to experience less regret, and ultimately you want to be more productive, then try those 3 things, and you'll be surprised at how simple and how practical it is to regain control of your phone. And then you can truly seize the day. Hey, if you're ready to take your productivity to a whole new level, make sure you grab a copy of my Amazon #1 best-selling book, Unlocking a More Productive You. If you want to learn the secrets of getting more of what matters most done, then this book is for you. And right now, when you visit my website, charliehugh-jones.com, I'll give you instant access to the first 3 chapters of this book, absolutely free. All you have to do is enter your name and email, and you can immediately start to discover the 3 keys to making space, increasing focus, and getting more of what matters most done. So go ahead and visit Charlie Hugh Jones now to get your copy of the first 3 chapters. My goal in each episode of this podcast is to inspire and equip you to unlock the best version of you. If you gained a valuable insight today, then please do me a favor and go out on social media and make sure to share this episode with others. Post your thoughts, post your reactions, share what insight you gained through listening to it. And don't forget to go and encourage someone else today. And make sure you hashtag unlocking you so we can see what kind of things are making an impact and really making a difference. Oh, and don't forget to take a moment to subscribe to the show too on iTunes or on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. Until next time, here's to the best version of you. Bye for now.